Oh, today we're going to talk about one of the most misunderstood concepts in the world of dogs, and that is socialization, right? So I get a lot of folks that call and say, "Hey, I'd like to sign my dog up for a group class because my dog really needs the socialization," right? So they think that their dog needs to be around other dogs in a class setting in order to be socialized. Well, guess what, folks? The socialization period for dogs, and that means the period of time in which we can introduce our dog to new things, new people, new situations, and make them feel comfortable in those situations so that they become bomb proof, right? You can take them anywhere they need to go. They can be around noises, animals, people, in busy, bustling places with traffic and livestock and all of that stuff we want our dogs to be able to handle. The period for introducing that to your dog and truly socializing your dog, under what the real definition of socialization is between 3 weeks of age and 12 weeks of age, and definitely by 16 weeks of age, right? After 16 weeks, and many people will say after 12 weeks, the part of the brain that allows our dogs to develop their personality and develop comfort with the different things they're going to encounter in their world, that period of brain development closes between 12 and 16 weeks. And when it closes forever. So that means proper socialization starts with your breeder when your puppy is 3 weeks old, and it closes very, very soon after you bring your new baby puppy home. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't continue to introduce our dogs to new things after 16 weeks, but what it means is that during the 3 to 12 week period, we could make the dog feel very comfortable with being around those things. After 12 to 16 weeks, we can teach the dog to tolerate or not be afraid of or not act in a reactive way to those things. But it's very much more difficult to change how your dog feels about those things. So, for example, if your dog got out from home a lot when he was between 3 and 12 weeks, he saw a lot of the world, he went places, he did things, he's probably going to be pretty comfortable doing that after 16 weeks and as an adult dog. If, however, your puppy went directly from the breeder to your house and somebody said, "Oh, don't take your puppy out until they finished all their vaccines," and now you have a 16-week-old puppy that's never been anywhere, it's going to be much harder for you to make your puppy feel comfortable going out in the big, wild, wide world. And what we may have to do is teach him how to cope with being out in the big, wild world rather than just being really comfortable in the big, wild world. So we give him coping skills after 12 to 16 weeks. But I think what most people really mean when they say that they want to bring their dog to a group class for socialization is they mean they want their dog to have enrichment. They want the dog to see and experience something different. Enrichment is completely different than socialization. I consider a really well socialized dog a dog that is socially neutral. So what does that mean? That means that that dog can go into any different environment. They can go with us into Tractor Supply. They can go with us to the farmer's market. They can go to a dog training class. They can go to the vet's office. They can go anywhere with us. And whatever is happening in the world around them, they're okay with it. It doesn't mean that they want to run over and play with every dog or run up and greet every person. In fact, it should mean that, yeah, I'm fine with those dogs over there. I'm fine with that person over there or those people over there, but my focus is on my owner, right? So my family and myself are what is primary. So an animal that is socially neutral. Enrichment, on the other hand, is experiences that we give our dog to create newness and interest and meets a biological need to explore their environment. So when you think about how dogs live in the wild, they travel miles every day. They check out their territory. They check the P mail, right? They sniff and smell and move all day long. But we have created an artificial environment for our dogs because of leash laws and safety. We keep our dogs inside. They either get out in a fenced yard or they get to go for walks, but it's nothing like what life used to be for dogs. I know when I was growing up back in the 19, dogs, we didn't have all these leash laws. I remember going to the school bus as a kid, and 4 or 5 of the kids I went to school with, we'd all show up at the bus stop with our dogs. They followed us to the bus stop. We got on the bus and the dogs chilled for the rest of the day. They played in the neighborhood. They went from one dog's yard to another dog's yard. They played. There weren't all these dog fights, right? Everybody got along. And at 3:30, they were all back at the bus stop waiting for their kid to get off the bus. And we went home and our dog went home with us. But they had a day where they were outside and playing with each other and exploring the neighborhood. It's not like that anymore. Our dogs are often in the house while we're working, or they get taken for, a few walks if they're lucky. But the fact that their lifestyle has changed, their genetic need for exploration and enrichment hasn't changed. So enrichment is very, very important for your dogs. Sniffy walks, getting to go out and explore the environment, playing brain games, food dispensing toys, using a licky mat, a snuffle mat, getting to smell different smells, a sensory garden where they can walk on different surfaces and smell different flowers, climb up on things, over things, under things, feel Mother Nature under their feet. That type of enrichment is critically important. And I think that when a lot of people call and they say, oh, my dog really needs socialization, they don't realize it, but what they're saying is that their dog needs enrichment. And there's wonderful ways out there to provide that. We've talked about a few. There's a book called Canine Enrichment for the Real World. It's a great book filled with ideas. If you're on Facebook, there's a Facebook page called Beyond the Bowl, Canine Enrichment, or maybe that's Canine Enrichment Beyond the Bowl. But there are wonderful ideas posted there of things that you can do with your dog for enrichment. And of course, taking them out to things like farmers markets and hiking trails and things like that are also wonderful. So try to understand that there is a difference between socialization, which is really a period of brain development and interaction with the world that closes by 12 to 16 weeks and cannot be recaptured, versus enrichment, which is a lifelong need for your dog to explore his environment, do new things, meet new people, and try new experiences. So socialization versus enrichment. And help your friends understand, because it's probably the most misunderstood concept in dogdom.